be getting like one more version of Android maybe, and then that's it. Versus the Galaxy S24, one of its biggest advantages is that it's basically going to be lasting like for another 7 years. That's what Samsung's stating, and that is a pretty big statement. The fact that this phone could last that long is pretty insane. So you're definitely going to be getting a longer lasting phone from something like the Samsung Galaxy S24 over something like the Samsung Galaxy S21. So definitely keep that in mind, and probably the biggest reason to jump up to this phone. Now let's do a speed comparison. The Galaxy S24 has that Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 chipset inside with 8 gigs of RAM on the base model, but it does go up to 12. This one has 8. The S21 has a Snapdragon 888 chipset inside with 8 gigabytes of RAM. So let's go and see which one's the faster one between both. Okay, there we go. Hopping all the apps in the background, as you can see, they're all cleared out. S21 is here, S24 is here. Let's do phone calls 321. Perfect. Let's go and do messages 321. Okay, very fast on both. Camera 321. The S24 was like slightly faster, but that was actually, there's a lot of overlap here. Now you can see within night mode, small things like that, you're going to notice some pretty big differences. Galaxy Store 321. Roughly around the same thing. Play Store 321. And again, the Galaxy S24 is slightly faster. Scrolling through, I think they're both going to be roughly around the same. I don't know why the S24 is taking so long to load. But you can kind of see, I mean, definitely the S21 is doing pretty decent. We have some other apps we can test. Snapchat 321. Kind of the same thing. Quizlet 321. About the same thing too. Bofa 321. Okay, some pretty interesting stuff going on here. We can go ahead and get into our game hub. So I'm going to go and just grab this game launcher. I'm just going to drag it to the home screen here, and we're just going to go and load up game launcher. Okay, some different pop-ups all over the place. And let's go and load into some games. So we do have some games here. Snake vs. Blocks 321. So I hate loading these games up in the game launcher, but I really have no other choice. So you can even see from here, the Galaxy S24 was slightly faster. Getting into the game, I don't really think there's going to be that big of a difference. Let's get into the next game. So let's go back into here. Let's go and try something like Subway Surfers, which I don't have. Let's go ahead and try, what other games do we have? Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. So I don't know why I didn't load from this one. We're just going to go ahead and just kind of try it out again. I want to see if this one would still be faster, even though I clicked into it later. And even though I clicked into the Galaxy S24s later, it almost loaded up in the exact same time. So it was almost identically the same speed. So think about how much faster it would have been if I did click it in the same exact time. So that right there is a very big thing to keep in mind. If you're talking about these two phones, there's a pretty big difference there. Stack 321. But I will tell you, the Galaxy S21's 888 chipset was still very good. You know, you were getting a very good chipset on this type of device. And I actually still use an 888 chipset quite a bit, I think, for some gaming that I do. For some like mobile gaming kind of. And it's actually been a pretty good chipset. I don't really have that much to complain about. It's a very good phone because you can just buy it for fairly cheap and still have a very good, like, robust phone when it comes down to it. So from that perspective, I will tell you from a speed standpoint, you're definitely going to be getting very fast phones between both. But the Galaxy S24 is definitely going to be faster over a longer period of time. Like, that is going to be the phone that you're going to get if you want a longer lasting phone. But it's still surprising to me how good of a job that particular phone does on the 888 chipset, you know, from my perspective. So it's actually a pretty insane thing. So that kind of covers it up there. Now, in terms of the camera side of things, this phone actually does have a pretty good camera too. I mean,